Hi YouTubers, it's me again. What I'm going to show you here is we'll do a little more work on the Porsche 944 Turbo. It's an 88, and still haven't touched the motor mounts, but you can see right here on these bolts I've dropped the cross member about 3/4 of an inch. I have it jacked up still, and I still have the upper engine hoist sitting there doing its job, and I'm in the middle of just going through the rest of the car. Took off the boots and checked out the tie rods, and you can see here, if you can't, let me just get in here a little better with the light. This boot right here was just destroyed right there, and you can see how it just destroyed. I can't get it off. The nut up top here, not a castle nut, but this nut just makes the outer tie rod spin, so I'm going to have to cut this off. You can see the inner boot, inner tie rod I've removed, and lo and behold, you can see here, look at this. Look how floppy this is. It has no in and out play, but this thing is just toast. I mean, it has no resistance at all, and found that out by just driving the car and seeing when I changed lanes, it would just veer a lot, and a little scary. So I pulled these out, tested them, and obviously they're bad. I have new ones hanging out over here in the box. So I'm just going to yank this guy out. I have my little tool here to remove the inners. As you can see here, maybe you can't, but just slide that up and over this guy here. Slide up and over, then you put the tube over it, then you just twist it off, and that's it. Put a new one on, and it comes as a whole unit. That's one I bought for the inner and outer tie rods. So I bought the whole thing, I think 69 bucks on Amazon. So I'll do both sides, get those cleaned up, done, and put the new boots on the inside, tighten this down, torque it to specs, then work on the rest of the car. But while I'm in here, again, I have these bolts. Pretty much, you can see they're finger tight. They're just holding on by a mere thread to lower the cross member there, to drop the engine a little bit more and have me get into up here and remove the engine mounts. So that's it. I'm going to do that. I'll take another video once I put the inner and outer tie rods in, and show you the difference. Thanks. Here's the old tie rod. The inner, at least, I should say. You can see it right here. Look at this. Look how loose this thing is. Look at this. I can move it by hand. So I couldn't use any of these rotten extensions that they gave me for the tool. None of these. This one, or this one worked. They just didn't work. The threads in here, and I think if you see other videos, they'll tell you the same thing, that inside here the diameter does not fit any of these. So what I had to do is go buy a cheap little $7 32 millimeter wrench, and guess what? I pulled them off. And you can see, look at that, it's gone. So they'll start on the new one, put some Loctite in there, and we should be good to go. Alright guys, back to YouTube here. So new tie rod is in, new outer, you can see it right there, and the new inner is in right there with a new boot. Everything's nice and tight. Before I could actually move the whole inner tie rod, and now it's nice and tight, just the way it should be. So that's it. All I have to do now is do the other side and bring it in for alignment. Obviously, do the motor mounts. I also have these little guys right here. Since I'm here, might as well, right? I'm going to do the steering rack bushings. It's 2 bolts underneath there for the steering rack bushing, and for 20 bucks I'm basically tightening up the whole steering rack. And your bushings, wow, I'm flopping this camera around right now. Your bushings are right here. Basically, you just take off these 2 cap screws here and here, move this back a little bit, and pop them out, pop new ones in, and steering rack is good to go. Now obviously there's one down that end too. So that's it for right now. Again, here's the here are the tie rods. You can see, can't get it good in focus here, but there's your outer, nice and clean and new, and inner with a new boot. So I'll be happy once this car gets aligned and on the road again. So off we go to these crazy motor mounts back up here again that are vicious, and you can see them from right here. That they're really, just look at that, look how rusty that is. This thing's, I have to get rid of these, pop these off, and put the car back together. That's it. Alright, see you later, guys. Progress, ladies and gents. I don't know if you've seen other videos where people had, I think Roaring Tiger's Garage had this, where they want to remove the bushings here. So I just replaced this one. I left this hose, but I disconnected it over here on this side of the barb. You can see right down here. I disconnected it right up there, right where I'm pointing with this little nubby here. I disconnected up there like they mentioned. They went ahead and they removed this hose here, the power steering hose, which right here, all the way up and over, and they removed it. You really don't have to remove it. Clark Garage doesn't have this either, but when you replace your bushings, just pull this hose off of, like this little hose here is on here. You pull that off, lift it up out of the way. Kind of flexible, you don't have to worry about it breaking. And there's a 10 millimeter right here, you can see it, 10 millimeter nut holding this bracket in place, and this allows you to move this up and down. You can see the hose. Once I did that, the cap came right off. So don't drain it, don't pull that, just undo this 10 millimeter bolt up here, pull this off, and your cap comes off, and then your bushing comes off. And you can see my bushing, I don't know if you can or not, but that thing is nasty. I mean, it's, I'm thinking all original. And you can see the rust. Again, part of the New England rust package around here. You can see the bushing, how nasty it is. Trying to focus here. You can see the bushing right here, how gross it is. I mean, this thing is on there like... And again, that's why this car is so difficult to work on sometimes, because of the stupid bolts that are, you know, just rusted. Look at that. Just rust lines, rust. Look at that. So, and there's that stupid infamous motor mount. You can see right back there that I'm still working on. And I'll fix. So, that's it. I'll put this bushing on. Again, this bushing is over here. If I can get focus. That one's already on. That one's good to go. Just have to put the cap screws back on there. And I'll take this one off right now, and we'll be done. And I still have to do that side. As you can see, it's leaking. Once I do that side, I'll get the motor mounts in place, and we'll be done. Bring it in for a tune-up. Alignment. Alright, so another quick update. Finally got one of the motor mounts out. I had to buy a 3/8 inch crowfoot extension right here, these guys. And what that allowed me to do that a regular box wrench couldn't do was give me the ability to break the bolts free that were seasoned there. And you can see I got the new motor mounts there, and you can see this is the passenger side motor mount, and I just took it out right now, and you can see how it's just leaking junk everywhere. And let me just grab one of my gloves here, lift it up, and you can see, look at that shit, garbage. So all the fluid leaked out of it over the years. It was cracked and broken. Obviously this is the top, this is the bottom, goes through the cross member, and that's the top over there on the other side. But this thing was split, and it lost any and all fluids, and that's why the car was again shaking like it had an epileptic fit. So that's it. I have that one off. I think I showed you guys already the new steering bushings are in, and the tie rod assembly is in on the passenger side. I'm just going to continue on with the driver's side and go from there. Thanks, guys. Alright, YouTube. Just wanted to show you guys the 944 turbo tie rods. You can see there's the outer tie rod. I'll slide it down here, and you see the inner tie rod. Replaced both of them. So let me just show you here. These are still kind of tight. As you can see, they have some force to them left, so these are okay. The boots are good around here. And let me flip it over to the other side. And the reason why I replaced everything, just because the car's old, and I replaced one side and might as well replace the other. They're cheap enough to do. The inner ball joint here, inner tie rod, let me just show you what it does here. I'm just going to grab it very loosely, and it really just, look at that. I mean, there's no in and out play, but I mean, this is, I can move it with my pinky almost, you know, just, it's really very little movement, very little pressure from me. There's plenty of grease in it, but it's just, and this is the next step. Once this thing starts going, start clinking on the inside, I'm getting the Porsche ready for an alignment.